As a child of immigrants, I witnessed the sacrifices, the hard work, and the perseverance that my parents endured in order to give myself and my siblings a better life. And while they instilled all these priceless lessons and values, the truth is, the specific money lessons and rules we may have watched and picked up along the way are actively sabotaging us. The mindset and the lessons that got us here can't get us to the next level of wealth. In fact, the specific habits we learn from a scarcity mindset, habits like constantly hunting for deals and meticulously saving, are the exact things responsible for the constant overconsumption and guilt you feel today. You think you're being frugal, but I'm going to show you how those frugal habits are the very things keeping you broke. These are the 5 frugal habits you need to unlearn because they're costing you more money than you can imagine. Trust me, I learned the hard way. If you want to stop the cycle of endless shopping and overconsumption, keep watching till the end. All right, let's get into the 5 habits. Habit number 1, the frugal hunter. Wasting time, not money. If you're like me, you are an expert deal hunter. Ask anyone who knows me. I love a good deal. You scour the internet, you drive across town, you check stock at multiple stores, all to save a few dollars. You're addicted to the hunt. But are you actually calculating the true cost per item? These are the things I never thought about before. What about your time, your gas money, the mental load? Your attempt to save $5 is costing you $50 in time, gas, mental energy. This isn't frugality, it's a hidden tax on your valuable time. Truly wealthy individuals value their time exponentially more than saving a few dollars. They'd outsource the deal hunting or simply pay full price if it means regaining hours of their day. So I get it. This addiction to the hunt is rooted in our scarcity mindset. If you grew up in an immigrant household, you know that when our parents had us clipping and saving coupons, we were learning how to live on a limited budget. So that mindset helped us survive then, but now it's actively holding you back from truly building wealth. Because now, instead of finding ways to build your wealth, you're instead spending it trying to pinch pennies. So it's time to ask, is this frugal behavior actually helping me achieve my current financial goals? Or is it outdated advice that needs to be abandoned? Habit number 2, death by cheap cuts, the self-soothing trap. You know this friend, or you are this friend. You tell yourself, I don't shop, but then you're always grabbing a few things. Like when you're at the store, you let your kid pick up that toy, or when you're at the market, you just grab a few things right before you check out. One of my clients had this goal of she would like to shop at Nordstrom without the guilt, but her credit card was loaded with these small purchases like Starbucks and Home Goods and knickknacks, Amazon. And the thing is, it's not about the $7 coffee that's the problem. It's more about the $3,000 a year habit that it creates, which you could be investing and or spending it on the actual thing that you want. You are using the tiny, cheap treats as a way to avoid dealing with your real financial situation. This is financial death by 1,000 cheap cuts. She bought the Starbucks to feel better about the things she felt like she couldn't afford, like that new outfit or the vacation she's been wanting. But really, these small purchases all add up, and it's basically self-soothing and avoidance. So we need to be honest about what is driving our actions. Ask yourself, will this small purchase truly help me, or is it just enabling my avoidance? Address the root cause of the small daily purchases and get curious as to what's really going on. Habit number 3, the impatience tax, the cost of poor planning. So some of you wives out there might get me, but I'm the planner and my husband's the just roll with it. And it drives me crazy because when you didn't plan, you are going to pay for it. I used to have this one boss who would always book these last minute flights and hotels and pay exorbitant fees for a particular need at a particular time. The I need it now mentality is the impatience tax on your lack of foresight. Wealthy people understand that foresight is free. When you demand immediate gratification for non-emergencies, you're essentially paying for your disorganization. For example, let's say you notice a tiny leak in your kitchen or your bathroom and you're thinking, oh, I should schedule a plumber to come out, but you lag, and eventually that tiny leak turns into a full-on pipe burst on the weekend. Now, when you're calling around, your options are limited and the plumber wants a weekend or an overtime fee. If you had taken the time to address it before it burst or planned ahead, or even for that vacation you knew you were going to take all year round, it would have been much less and you would have many more options to choose from. So we want to learn to practice delayed gratification and build in buffers. Get used to just knowing that it takes time. Your money should work for you and not pay for your impulsiveness. Habit number 4, the mental clutter tax, the cost of returns. We all do this. You want something, but you don't really spend that much time thinking about it. Instead, you just tell yourself, it's fine. I can always return it. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're guilty of this, because I'm definitely guilty of this. The thing is, we don't take into consideration the mental space this actual thing takes up as you remind yourself every day not to forget. Or on top of that, it adds to your physical clutter. And as much as we hate to admit it, I know that it's happened to all of us on one occasion or another where you forget to return it within the window. And ultimately, you lose the money on something you didn't even really want and can't wear or whatever it was, and now you just feel bad. So the lie that you're telling yourself is you think you're being financially smart by guaranteeing your money's safety with a return policy, but you're actually the queen of mental clutter and lost opportunity. Returns are not a smart financial strategy. They're a tax on your indecision. You're wasting valuable time and mental bandwidth on the logistics for items you're not sure you even want. So stop wasting your time and energy. Decide before you buy. Make your time and mental peace worth more than the hassle of a return. Run through the 3-question checklist. 1, do I have something like this already? 2, do I actually need it? 3, can I wait for it? Really stop and take the time to think about it. So if I want something, I like to add it to a list on my phone and revisit it within the week. Typically, I'll forget and I'll cross it off my list, or I'll come back and I do still want it, but I learned that it's not as urgent and I can wait for it to go on sale. Habit number 5, the retail therapy lie. Shopping to fill the void. As a child of immigrants, I got used to hearing the word no when I wanted something. I remember asking my parents for the same toy over and over, and some years I was lucky because they would get it for my birthday or Christmas. I noticed that as I became an adult and made my own money, I would shop to fill the void. It made me feel good to be able to choose to buy something for myself without hearing the no. I didn't have to ask anyone. However, it turned into a crutch. You're upset, so you go to retail therapy. You had a bad day, so you go to the mall and buy yourself a pick-me-up because you deserve it. And most of the times we get excited in the anticipation and the planning and going, but then we actually forget about the actual thing we bought. And what follows is regret, guilt, and shame. You are spending money to avoid feeling your feelings. The initial high of anticipation is immediately followed by the crash of regret. I remember I would buy myself a cute outfit for going out with friends, and I would feel so good walking around with the shopping bag. However, as soon as I got home, reality hits. right? The deep down knowing that I shouldn't have bought this. And then you spiral into guilt and shame. And in the end, it never felt good. I was always left with this sense of regret. So instead of trying to shop your feelings away, press the pause button. Anytime you notice yourself being driven by wanting to feel better or that I deserve it mentality, stop and pause. Pretend your credit card doesn't work and there's a 24-hour hold on it, and use that time to dive into what you're feeling and what you're trying to avoid. When we stop to reflect and feel our feelings, the quicker it tends to dissolve and we move on. It seems counterintuitive, but you need to slow down in order to speed up. Overconsumption isn't just about these big purchases or social media trends. It's often disguised as frugality, convenience, or self-care, rooted in deeper money stories and scars that we need to unlearn and heal from. So it's time to break free from these old money lessons. Start valuing your time, making intentional choices, and addressing the root causes of your spending. This is how you shift from a mindset of scarcity to true financial abundance, knowing that you are enough and money won't fix that feeling that you're trying to avoid. If this resonated with you, share it with a friend and let me know below in the comments, what's one frugal habit you're ready to unlearn this week? And if you're like me, always curious, watch this next video to see just how many millionaires there are in the US. You might be surprised.